which is in Sanskrit, and Ramcharitmanas is in was written by Tulsidas, right? And it was in the Awadhi language. Awadhi is very kind of next to Hindi, right? A little bit, not exactly. They are two different stuff, but yeah, both of them, they describe Ram and other characters. So Ram, as I said earlier, is the best example of dharma, of a follower of dharma. Okay, his whole life has been dedicated to dharma. You may agree with that or not. There are many points maybe where you can discuss where you don't agree that Ram adhered to, we have followed dharma. That is up to you. That is up to your notion. That is up to your perception, right? So Ram is known as Maryada Purushottam. This is a word you should definitely use in your work, right? He is Maryada Purushottam. The one who followed all the moral standards, the one who adhered to truth, ou bien, pas truth, dharma, the one whose life has been based on dharma, Maryada Purushottam, right? And in the Vedas, it has been mentioned that truth and righteousness, that is satya and dharma, are the fundamental principles. You should note this. I'll send that also later. In the Vedas, the Vedas has exclaimed that Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara. Sorry, Dharmam Chara, which means that when you write a quote, don't forget to write the meaning, which means that Satyam Vada, Vada means to say, to tell, again, to speak. So we need to speak the truth, and dharmam chara, and to act. Chara, say to do something, to act, to perform something, and to act as per dharma. It's a quite easy line. You remember that you can put in your work, right? Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara. Wherever you are talking about dharma, you add that in your work. Quand bizarre, s'il y a une question 5 points, for example, pas tous les temps qui nous cave écrire quotations. It depends on question, of course. So I continue with Ram. Yeah. So we are saying that Satya and Dharma, the two fundamentals teachings of the Vedas, and Ram is definitely the perfect example. Now, if we see the story of Ram, généralement, when he was a kid, tout ça, bon, n'oubliez tout ça for the time being. But he got, he went to Gurukul. He studied. This is one dharma, to go to Gurukul to study, to go to school to study. He followed his dharma. Malgré a kshatriya, he will be the next king of Ayodhya. Yet he went to Gurukul as a normal person, come to Jamuna, and even his friends in the Gurukul belong to all the caste, right? They were not rich people, all of them, Kumandiansi rich, right? So this is dharma, right? To see everyone equally, to behave equally to everyone. This is dharma. So he followed his dharma. He grew, he got married. This is another dharma again. If you take the ashram, which we did last time, the ashram dharma, the brahmacharya, the grihast, the vanpras, and the sannyas. The grihast ashram, c'est un dharma a person needs to perform. Livre qui nous dit que some people can skip that, but usually we go through all those stages of life. So Ram got married. He loved his wife. He protected his wife. This is the dharma, right? When he returned after his marriage, he returned with Sita to Ayodhya. Ram decided to make him the king, right? Dashrath decided to make him the king of Ayodhya. Dashrath, that is his father, to make Ram the king of Ayodhya. But then you have Kaikeyi, who asked the two boons. The two boons were to make Bharat the king. Kaikeyi se son c'était Bharat. She wanted that his son become the king. And to send Ram to the forest for 14 years, right? Kaikeyi de ce pas, il peut faire ce dharma and adharma, of course. And Ram here, when it was decided that he need to go to the forest for 14 years, he did not argue. He accepted. It wasn't the wish of Dashrath, of his father. C'était pas the wish, but Dashrath was bounded by a promise. Dashrath once promised Kaikeyi that whenever Kaikeyi will ask for two things, he's going to grant Kaikeyi those two things, right? So that was the time that Kaikeyi in Servisa, and Dashrath now he can't do anything. Parce que we say that no pran jai par vachan na jai. You can use that in your work, of course. Pran jai, just making into inverted comma. Pran jai par vachan na jai. That is, we may lose our life, but we should not break our promise. That is the rule, ou bien the dharma, you can say, Dashrath was following. And Ram also followed the same, directly or indirectly. Ram accepted to go to the forest without arguing, without even asking why, also what is the reason for sending him to the forest, right? His father said he had to go to the forest, so he went to the forest, right? That is again his dharma. He followed his dharma. And in the forest, he lived there among the sages. He respected them. He did meditation. He also killed certain demons in the forest. That was again his dharma. Dharma as a kshatriya. He was a kshatriya. And the duty of a kshatriya is to protect. So he did that even in the forest. And when he was in the forest, Malgrelian Kshatriya, he was living a life of a sannyasi. He was living a life of a sannyasi in the forest, Malgrelian Kshatriya. He was meditating, he was doing meditation, he was doing service, seva, etc. Seva, that is service. Right? In the forest. So that is a life of sannyasi, and he was eating fruits, roots. He was not living like a prince in the forest. Basically, say a life of sannyasi, right? So all this is so dharma. And also one important thing here, you know, life keep on changing. You know, life keeps on changing. At a point, Ram was the prince, the would-be king, right? And suddenly, he had to leave everything, to renounce everything, and to go to the forest for whatever reason. He went to the forest. So this is, you know, the ups and downs of life. And what is our dharma when there are so many downs, ups and downs in our life? Our dharma is to overcome all difficulties. Our dharma is to not to lose courage, not to be discouraged. This is our dharma. parfois on dit que dharma means service, dharma means puja, part, meditation. Pas seulement ça. The way of living rightly. I don't know who said that, someone, I am not remembering. Living rightly is an art. Okay. If we take that in terms of dharma, of course, is the art. Parfois, we have certain situations in life where we are going to curse God, where we say, etc. You know that all of us, we might have said all these things. We kind of discourage in life, we don't find solutions. But no, our dharma is to be firm, like a mountain, or bien like a stone, whatever you want to say. We need to be firm. That is our dharma. And Ram has been through all these. He has been courageous. Even Sita, of course, she was courageous to go with Ram in the forest, And Ram lived there. He protected Sita. Even Lakshman protected Sita. But then when Sita was kidnapped, what was the situation of Ram? Right? Situation of Ram when Sita was kidnapped by Ravan. He was unhappy, he was sad, in sorrow, he was grieving. Okay. Now, he is God. We all know Ram is depicted as God, as an avatar of God. Yet he is showing signs of being a simple human, a common man. God does not grieve. God has no sadness. God has no happiness. God is free from any pair of opposite, right? But here, when he takes the incarnation, he acts as a human. That is the objective of avatar, the aim of God to take avatar. Since we were talking about it, let's write it. Avatar, qui fait God takes incarnation, takes avatar. We have two major objectives for that. Premièrement, c'est to protect. To protect, to show examples. Okay, to show examples. This is what Ram has been doing, like living as a common man, being in grief, being in sorrow, also Madame has been kidnapped, right? And other instances, of course. And the second is to destroy evils, ou bien evil doers. That is the two objectives or aims of God taking incarnation, right? So the situation of Ram, when Sita was kidnapped, and he went in search of Sita. He went in search of Sita, and finally killing Ravan, etc. Okay, so he has been doing his duty of a husband, killing Ravan. His duty of a Kshatriya. As a protector, he is a Kshatriya. He needs to eliminate evil. He did his dharma, his duty. And then they returned to Ayodhya. He became the king of Ayodhya, right? Where again it is his dharma. He followed his dharma to see the happiness of the subject, the people there. And he also sent Sita to forest. Again, Sita went to forest again. Where because of the gossips among the subjects. Là aussi, nous dit, he followed his dharma of a king. Normalement, d'après rules and regulations, ou bien appelé dharma of king, ou bien a politician, a government, whatever you say, as per their dharma, they they should, the subjects, the people of their country, for now as Ayodhya, should be the first. One subject en premier. Then the personal life of the king. Then the personal life of the minister or whatever. That is as per their dharma. And this is what exactly Ram has done. But we usually criticize Ram here because Sita was pregnant and he left Sita alone in the forest in that situation of pregnancy. And he has not been a good husband because he abandoned Sita, where he got married. He promised to protect Sita. But he was also the king. He had to choose. As per dharma, that was the perfect choice to make. But of course, then you get to the humanitarian side as well. It's not correct, it's not right to abandon or to renounce a woman who was pregnant and she had to go to the forest. She was doing all her work herself in the forest, right? And then afterwards, Ram and Sita met Tusa, and Ram continued to be the king of Ayodhya. That is the whole story. And in everything now, Ram has been perfect, has followed dharma. He was a perfect, he was a perfect, the right word is ideal, not perfect. He was an ideal son. He was an ideal brother, ideal king, ideal husband, ideal friend as well. He was the friend of Sugriv, right? You can say ideal Lord is ideal also, no doubt, right? So this is a bit of Ram, a bit Paski. In paper one, remember, you don't have to narrate stories here. Okay, you don't have to narrate stories of the Ramayana. Ne pas besoin aller dans ça détail. But know the character. Here the character which is important here is Ram. Of course, Sita, parce qu'il y en a three dharma dedans, right? Ram is the perfect one. You can take example in the Mahabharata as well. You take the example of Arjun, for example. Okay, Arjun Lee on the battlefield, he was a Kshatriya. He was a very powerful Kshatriya. But on the battlefield, he refused to fight. He refused to fight because he was going to fight his own family, his own stepbrothers, his own family, right? So he refused. And then the whole process, Krishna gave him the message of the Bhagavad Gita, and then he decided to fight at the end. The point here is they are conflicting dharma. You will have that in the question. The point here is the conflicting dharma. Udan situation, u follow your dharma. But the situation is as such qu'il y a beaucoup conflict dedans. Like, you are kind of confused which path to opt for. Like Arjun on the battlefield. Il connaît, il aime Kshatriya, il besoin fight. But seeing his family, seeing his brothers or his stepbrother, whatever, plutôt his cousin brothers. When seeing them, he refused to fight because of the attachment. And attachment leads to definitely not, attachment does not help us to adhere to dharma. We need to renounce, we need to detach to be able to adhere perfectly to dharma, right? So Arjun can be your example in your work. Mais là, dans question qui nous parle, il demande sur Ram. So you talk about Ram only. Okay? So this is a bit the story of Ram. Now we'll see the questions. Let's start with Ram. I wanted to discuss two questions. Let's see how it will be. Okay. So you're going to do this one. This is specimen paper. You have that in the notes. It will be in the folder of specimen paper 1. Okay, you will find it there. So the first question you are going to write about is describe one way. One way. Okay. Hindus might understand dharma. One way how we might understand dharma, how you might explain dharma on the move, right? But here we talk about one way, put that into consideration. Now it's up to you how you understand dharma to be. What is the definition of dharma for you? It is 5 marks. You're not expected to write too long, right? Let's say you can write it in 1 paragraph only. Si vous voulez faire les 2 paragraphs, that's fine. But si nous prend only 1 paragraph of approximately 10 to 15 lines can be, depending on how you are writing. Okay. But les cas moins ceci, mais parfois, it depend how you write. Maybe you're writing 5 ideas, for example. You may take longer, another one, so answer little shorter, whatever. But you focus on one way of understanding dharma. Premièrement, you can define dharma here. This is one way you can answer the question. If you have your way, you do it your way, of course. One way of writing the answer, say you explain dharma, c'est quoi dharma? Remember, the dharma comes from the word. Dharma comes from the word dri. Dri means to hold or to uphold, right? And dharma is the very basis of life. You can give English translations of dharma. For example, ethics, codes of conduct, rules and regulations. Dharma also mean religion, okay? Respect, c'est-à-dire values en d'autres mots, moral values, human values, tout ça c'est dharma, right? This is one way to start the answer, like I said, to explain about the term dharma. Now you have to focus in one direction parce qu'il demande one way of how you understand dharma. Let's say someone will take that to swadharma. Okay, swadharma. Swadharma veut dire the own dharma, our own dharma, ou bien self, right? Tu dis mon dharma à faire, no? That is the swadharma. Here you can also refer to the Bhagavad Gita as we did in our previous explanations. So you can take to that direction. That is one way of explaining dharma. Someone else may be writing about sadharan dharma. Someone may take it another way by writing about Sri Dharma. That is how you understand dharma to be. How you can define dharma. Nindimanu, one way. You choose your way, right? You choose your way. That will be 5 marks. If you will see the specimen paper here, when you do the work, don't have your specimen paper with you. You do it on your own, right? Here, Lini explains dharma, what dharma can mean, the different names for dharma. Lin prend dharma as Sanatan dharma. You can do that. Sanatan Dharma. Li capable in terms of Kumanushveja Swadharma. Sakanina so obligation. Sakanina so duty. This will refer to the ashram. If we are Kshatriya, we have a certain duty to fight, that is to protect. If we are Shudra, we have a duty of service. No? So you call it as Swadharma. Okay. So the point here is, publier one way. Première chose, you explain the various possibilities, how to, you explain dharma. Et deuxième, you choose your way. Ou on vit écrire le sadharan dharma, ou on vit écrire le stri dharma, or swadharma, up to you. Don't write everything similar. Thanks one. You won't be penalized in the exams. Fait que moi, on écrit an answer. Donc, place one way, on écrit swadharma, sadharan dharma, on écrit stri dharma. Li pour trouver réponse, swadharma, premier peut-être. Li vous corriger, you'll get certain marks. But what happened to you? You lost your time. Exams, in exams, time is very precious. Time, energy, right? You lost that. So this will affect your other questions. Stick to what has been asked, right? Next question. This is one. Deuxième. Explain why Sita might be considered a perfect model of Stri Dharma. Maybe you can first define Stri Dharma. What is Stri Dharma? Dharma of woman. Ukapa quote, we gave quotes, I remember, of Manusmriti to Sa. And a beaucoup quote de Manusmriti. You choose one. Okay, I told you choose few quotes you remember for your work. Upanishad apprendre tout, to even remember at the end. No? Write something which you will remember for the exams, right? And you write about Sita. Do you consider Sita to be a perfect role model of Sri Dharma? Est-ce qu'il didn't follow the duties of a woman, right? You may agree or not, but I believe you will agree because the way Sita was, right? She was a role model, okay? You have that also in the specimen. You can go through it. Here it is. Mais seulement fait de sorte, quand vous écrire sa réponse, some students tend to narrate stories. Don't do that. Peut-être que Kavi in one line or something, that she went to the forest after Ram got banishment, right? But this is not called narrating, of course, no? You're not narrating what happened when they returned after marriage, etc. Don't give those details. Don't narrate a story here in paper one. You give that for paper two, okay? So yes, that is up to you how you consider Sita to be the Stri role model of Stri Dharma or not. Yeah. If you want to read the specimen paper once before answering your question, you're free, you do that. But make sure you do the work by yourself. Because you will have many ideas. You will see, you will have many ideas to add. Quand we clear, you will notice that, okay? I guess you know that already. Now, the next question, this one, say, Ram's life demonstrates a way to balance conflicting dharmas. So la vie, he demonstrate how to bring a balance. Quand on a conflicting dharmas, c'est-à-dire when we are in a situation where you have two paths and you have to take a decision. Like Ram, he doesn't take care of the subject of Ayodhya, and there was the wife, Sita. Which one to choose, right? These are conflicting dharmas. Discuss this statement with reference to your understanding of dharma. You are writing on dharma using Ram as example. Pas faire le contraire. You are not writing about Ram using dharma as example. You don't do that. You don't narrate stories to some. So, sorry. You may start about how Ram has been following dharma. You have the 10 principles of dharma. Si je tiens dans votre livre forme 5 et dans les dedans. If you don't have, let me know. I'll send you. The 10 principles of dharma. Ram has been known to be following the 10 principles of dharma. Ou bien start your work with a quotation. Satyam vada dharmam chara. Whatever. Anything on dharma which you know. You can use any quote of Manu Smriti also on dharma. En général, pas prendre strict dharma ici. In general, so you can do that as well. Anything which definitely link to the question. Okay, that will be different way of starting. But here you don't start by defining dharma. Parce qu'on finit faire ça dans question numéro 1A. Okay. And how Ram has been ideal. He got banishment. And when he got banishment, he didn't argue. No, he could have. You may write that. And he